Here's another bag that I paid almost nothing for. This is Ninja Turtles. I'm sorry, there's a green piece or two in there, but it's pieces that go to Ninja Turtles action figures, like helmets, guns, axes, and stuff like that. It's a pretty nice sized bag with some equipment and stuff in it. You know, I paid $1 for this. It's probably $20 worth of Ninja Turtle parts from the 88 Playmates or the 80s Playmate figures. So that's just another example. Even cheapo plastic. Again, it's green, so it's a little hard to see, unfortunately, but this is just cheap. And I'm just trying to show you the back, how it's connected. This is, say, early. All this style of connection with the fanciness on it, this is 30s. 30s all the way. Little souvenir of Cologne. I believe that's in Holland, if I'm not mistaken, but it's actually a little tiny book souvenir. It's aluminum, probably from the 20s. It's got a little latch on it and the whole works. Here's a charm of advertising the Princess phone. I know it's a little hard to see, unfortunately, but that's a Princess phone. Coke's the real thing. Again, these are $1 or less. Average price in anything I'm just showed you is probably $6 or more. Probably more like 10 or 12. Theodore Roosevelt from the Marx set. In fact, I'll probably show you some Marx here in just a few moments. 1970s Ronald McDonald. Here's some kind of oddball car key, too. Now we've got some tokens in here. This is Lindbergh, Charles Lindbergh. And I just saw this, so I have to look this one up for sure. It's an advertising company. It's like a trade token. So it's probably 20s, being that Lindbergh's on it, Charles Lindbergh. I'm guessing $30 or $40 minimum on something like that. Here's a Daredevil stunt show from the 30s. Again, this is all the kind of stuff that I buy. All of it. Let's show you the Lindy up a little closer too. There you go. You can see that. And the insurance company advertisement on the back. Product of General Motors. Here's an early Pontiac pin. Coin, actually. This is probably $30 or $40. You know, so again, it's these... it's these little things that make money. Oh, this is real. This is a stone. That's carved stone of some sort. Definitely a stone. Wished I had the setting for that. Here's a Russian Cold War era ladies' watch necklace. That might be worth some money too. Here is a Art Deco initials tie clip. Really early one too. Swank. I'll have to look this up or test this at least. Some of these have been gold and the markings where you can't see it. So this is a look-up piece. Here's an old safety token. $10-15. Now, most people wouldn't know what this is. This is actually a bullet for Mark's toy gun. Probably was chromed at one time. Unfortunately, the chrome's worn off. I guess it may have been a non-chromed version. Who knows on that one there. Here's a German pocket knife. It looks like a saber sticker on it too. So who knows what I paid for that. This is pretty interesting. If I remember this, yeah, it opens up. Opens up. It's a little charm, like a schoolhouse charm. $8-10. Some of these are signed, so these little tiny charms sometimes can go for 30 or 40. Oh, here's another ring. It's definitely got some markings. It looks like it's been cut and resized. Looks like it could be something. I'll have to look this one up again. We'll set that one aside. Again, I throw this in a box. So, you know, some of these stuff sit here for a long time. I'm not hurting for anything at these days. So, little tiny mouse pin. Now, all these mice pin I've sold for, say, $14-15. It's actually kind of cute. Let's see if you can see it very well. But it's actually kind of cute. There you go. That's better. Just a Victorian, like, bow pin here of some sort. This one's marked. Cremenza, maybe. Nice early piece, 1920s. U.S. Olympic wrestling pin, probably 80s or before. Again, most of this stuff will get me some good money. Premium token. The Mint Hotel. It's a token from the Mint Hotel, probably in Las Vegas, I'm guessing. Let's see here. Matching key pins. Now, there used to be a key society, so I'm not sure. These are early 20s or 30s. God knows what those are worth. There's some really fancy tokens in here. I'm going to have to look up some of these. Anniversary, FCP. It's probably some fraternal order. 1914 Golden Jubilee. This is probably worth some good money. I think it shows off better in this hand. There you go, 1914. Rather fancy coin there, too. Again, this stuff right here is going to make you. This will give you all the money you need. St. Christopher, promotional piece. Oh, here's a nice Halloween piece. Oh, it's sterling. Here's a sterling Halloween. That ought to do very well. Come Halloween, I'll probably get 30 or 40 bucks minimum for that piece there. It's marked sterling. It's got a 925 mark on it. Heinz Pickle probably won't show up very well. 10, 15 bucks. Another Heinz Pickle. This one feels like it could be gold. This one's pretty heavy. Again, all of these things are worth putting up for 15 or 20 bucks. Everything I'm showing here. This looks like junk to most people. Here's a little donkey pin, probably political. Here's a $5 token. Not sure what it's for. People's Gold Star Club. I don't see a date, but it's $5. That's pretty high. Again, this is what you want. This is exactly the type of thing you want to find. Scroll Society, feature editor, Quill Scroll Society. Oh, can't tell if it's gold filled or gold, but it's got a gold marking on it for sure. These are Mark's keys. These probably get me 10 or 15 bucks. They're plastic. They go with the Mark's Western play set. This is early. I'll have to check this out too. This might be gold. It's some kind of masquerade. Now here's a nice, unfortunately there's some green on it, but this is a Girl Scout pin. 10 or 15 bucks. Let's see. Here's another early 30s Girl Scout pin. You can tell by the pin shank on the back. Now, what to look for on Girl Scout pins. Let me see if we can get this where you can see it a little better. Now, what to look for on a Girl Scout pin that's worth money. The Eagle Shield there, you see there's 4 stars. If that's got 7 or more, it is worth some good money. That's early. 7 or more stars on a Girl Scout shield makes it worth money. Some of these are gold, too, so always look these up. Let's see what else we got here. An old key. Piece of sterling. Yeah, it's sterling. Here is some kind of other fraternal piece. Obvious fraternal piece here. Again, these little tiny pieces are, something that we find. If I wanted to find this kind of stuff, I could fill a box up every week. I could probably get 40 pounds of this kind of stuff. It's that prevalent around here, these little tiny junk things. That's why we've moved around some kind of other pin there. I'm not even looking at some of these. Angel pin. What is this? Oh, it's like a... It is a dog whistle. Is there a name on it? Nope, but I'm going to look this one up. This one might be worth a few bucks. Some of these dog whistles go for some real good money. Sterling pin. Even these little tiny sterling pins, this small, I can get 30, 40 bucks for quite often. Let's see what else I got in here. That's sterling, but it's nothing fancy. This is gold, it looks like. Hang on just a second here. Yep, here's another piece of gold, 14 karat. No idea what it is. Probably some company logo. I look these up or hold on to them until I find something for them. Here's a sterling pin here. School pin from 1929. Let's see if we can get that in there a little better. There you go, 1929, you can see it, or 25. Maybe it's a employee pin, 25 years of service. That could very well be too. More sterling. That's junk. There's some other pins in here too. This one's sterling and then gold filled. Again, these little tiny pins usually do extremely well for us. I don't know how well you can see those, but in fact, you probably can't see them very well. There we go. I think you can kind of see them. Got a globe on this one here. These are all things to look for. All of these little tiny pieces of what most people think is junk. You know, they all bring us good money across the board. And I'm showing you just random... Oh, I just speared myself with something. Let's put this back in here. All this stuff does very well for us. I have not done wrong on any of this kind of stuff. This is exactly the stuff that we sold before we had pickers. This is it. I've literally pulled out. This is stuff that I purchased and just hadn't got a chance to get up. And then we moved on from there. Again, I buy this stuff in mass quantities, so for me it's easy. Let's show you some Marx figures here too, because again, it's easy to talk about them, but until you can see them up close, it's hard to tell what's what. So hang on just a second here. Now these tanks, let me see if we can get you up to the tank so you can see the mark on it. Now this tank is marked very inconspicuously right down there with Lido, L-I-D-O. That's a good one there. Now, the best Marx ones, let's show you the ones with the official Marx marking on them, and then show you a couple that have other Marx markings on them. Here we go. Here's a nice example. Marx are always going to have the same style of marking on it. Okay, so this is a typical Marx. It's going to have this, or something very similar to it, and it's always going to have that little hole on the side. Sometimes you will find Marks that just have two holes, but that hole is the exact same size as the other one, so that's what to look for. Keep one around if you need to. Any of the other ones that are takeoffs on Marks don't have a hole the same size. Some of the Marks too will say stuff like this. General Lee, they'll say a name. That is Marx as well too. You can tell by the feel, the color, and the construction of the figure after a while. Again, most of them will have this. This is 1950s-ish on these here. Here's yet another Marx marking on the bottom. It's got the big circle on there just like the other ones, but it doesn't have the marks on it. That's how you can tell. It's going to have one of these types of markings on the back. Now, there are some, the earlier ones, like this one here, that don't say marks on them at all, and they don't have any feet. This goes with a set, which I've shown a couple of times. I've gotten 2 or 3 of these sets recently. It's 50, 60 bucks on these. You know, and some other items like the promos from the cereal were made by Marx as well. Now, you're going to run into some as well that won't have Marx markings on them, but by looking at the quality of the character, you can pretty much guess that that is a Marx as well. So let's see if I got any other Marx in here. Another one that people mix up. Now, the holes on this one are a little smaller. This is probably Auburn. It's rubber. And it's like a train piece. It could even be from a Lionel train set. All of these are worth money. Most of the Marx ones that are Army soldiers are going to have something on the bottom like I'm showing you there. Those Marx, you know, without that, or with the Marx logo on the bottom like that one, or again with the hole and nothing else. So Marx are important to be able to ID. They're all going to have one of those features. If it doesn't have anything on the bottom, or it has one big hole that goes all the way through the foot, it's MPC or something along that line there. But that's what I have on this part of it. We're going to show you a couple of secrets, and then we will probably take off from there as well. So I thought I'd throw out just a couple more items here. These are Bolo's Insider ones. This is something that almost everybody misses, including military collectors. I'm just going to show you 2 items on this. This hat here looks like nothing. When I'm going out and sourcing and they've got a bunch of military items, this hat is almost always left behind. They will always buy the Navy shirts, the pants, and the actual Navy hat, and this is usually left behind. So this one's missed all the time because the label is under this flap up here. You actually have to turn it over just to see the label. Sometimes the label's gone, sometimes it looks like this. If you didn't know any better, you would not think anything of this. Again, even people who know this is in the collection with the military items don't realize that these hats, these beanie Navy hats, are worth so much. This is a watch hat. They would have worn this walking the deck at night. There were a ton of these made. Most people miss these. everywhere I go. You can see the price. I've sold these for over $200 with a real nice label. It's something I can pick up for a couple dollars or less. And again, everybody wants the pilot hats, the Navy standard hats with the tail hanging off. They want the uniforms. This item here does not look like much, and it is always missed. I promise you, this is the one item out of a Navy uniform, even up into the Korean War, that will always sell for big money. I have found one of these at Savers once before when our Savers were open, so it's not an anomaly either. Many of them go for hundreds of dollars. It just depends on how much you put them up for. I would never put one of these up as a auction. It would always be a bin, 200 plus for each one. Again, they sell very, very high. Everybody misses this one here. There's two that sold on eBay that only went for 30 bucks because that's what they put them up for. They didn't research it enough and thought that they weren't worth much money. And the other item is the Muhammad Ali Superman comic book. Now, this is a large format. Most people don't mess with these because of the size of the magazine. 5-6 years ago, before Ali passed away, these went for 20 to 40 bucks on average. I've got a few of them now. Didn't realize they were going that high until I pulled them out again to check on price before I listed them. Now, there's two versions of this. You can see both here. If you look in the top left corner, it's got the Whitman seal. That was sold through Whitman book. That was sold through Whitman Books. They do a lot of comic book tie-ins. The other one was released by DC Comics on their own. So these are the two versions. That is the only difference on these two, are the actual maker's name on them. So these are good killer items. 300 bucks a pop on these. Even as you see them, they are actually going for a ton of money these days. Now, these are, I guess, sort of graded by CBC. I don't recognize the company CBCS. That is not one that I have ever used. So, again, it's discretionary on some of these. But if you find this, invest in it for sure. They are going like mad. Here's an ungraded one for $251 with some creases, with some issues as well. So, and one more, $200, a little lesser condition, but again, these have shot through the roof. Most of the large size comics like this aren't worth a dime, and most people think that about all of them, but this is the exception. So another item you should be looking for. You won't see me posting this on YouTube. This is just for you. This is an insider. It's something you should find, especially the Navy hat, if you look enough in these vintage areas. I run into uniforms all the time. That is the one item that I usually can score on, even if all the other good stuff has been picked through. So anyway, that's what I have with this. Well, there you go. That's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas on it. If this video was to your liking, please comment and let me know what you think. I don't want to be off track in what I'm doing for you. It's hard to tell what everybody would like. Again, this was a question on what I bought beforehand. I am showing you literally what I bought. Smalls were easy. We lived in an apartment when we first started off. We lived in a small house after that. We had no room. We lived and actually had a 8-foot tall by 5-foot long by 3-foot deep shelf in our bedroom. And we had started our whole business from that one shelf, but everything had to fit on that shelf. So smalls and stuff like I'm showing you was the bomb and where we started at. So anyway, that's what I have for you today.